You know, one of my friends started using a new curriculum the other day and she loved it. It was a gorgeous program. It claimed to be non-denominational Christian. But as she went through, she thought to herself, there's something not right about this curriculum. What is it? I can't put my finger on what is wrong with this program. It ended up being that it was written by a Mormon with Jehovah's Witness and other denominations contributing to it. So it was very theistic, but in the end, it was not a gospel-centered homeschool curriculum. And sometimes I almost wonder if we need to start looking for a gospel-centered homeschool curriculum instead of just looking for something with the Christian tag. So in this video, I'm going to give you 10 options that are a curriculum that I would use myself. These are curriculum programs that have a biblical worldview and put the gospel into what they teach. So let's start with number 1, which is My Father's World. This program is an eclectic curriculum. That means it is written with many homeschooling methods, namely classical, Charlotte Mason unit studies, and obviously has that biblical worldview we talked about. It is a mailable curriculum and it's very, very hands-on, which a lot of parents like. Other parents feel a little bit overwhelmed. If you're one of those parents who feel overwhelmed, you can just skip the crafts and use your discernment by doing so. But a really lovely curriculum. Next up, we have Heart of Dakota, which is number 9. So this program, one of my friends uses it. She describes it as a rigorous Charlotte Mason curriculum. She said this program really forced her children to think critically. And she loved how the different sections in the curriculum were labeled that the student can either do it independently, they needed a teacher, or other mixed options. This curriculum is also very heavy on the Bible, so your children are going to walk out with a really good knowledge of what is in our sacred book. Love it. That's how a homeschool curriculum should be, right? At number 8, we have a Becca. Now, a Becca has been around for a really long time. This is a curriculum that is used both in Christian schools and in homeschools all over the planet, really. I used it when I was homeschooling myself, which would have been, what, goodness me, 30 years ago now. The program has online and offline learning options. This means you can teach the program to your children yourself, or you can have an online teacher do the work for you. If you're a working mother, the latter option is a great idea. At number 7, we have Master Books. This is a gospel-centered homeschool curriculum that is Charlotte Mason, and there is so much narrative. A lot of people really love this program. It is considered down the slightly easier side of learning. It's not so rigorous, for example, as Heart of Dakota, another Charlotte Mason homeschool curriculum is, but a lot of people just love Master Books because of the stories in it. And very, very gospel-centered. There's also a lot of character taught through this curriculum. Now, I have linked all of these homeschool programs down below, so you can find whichever ones you're interested in the description box below. At number 6, we have Compass Classroom. And Compass Classroom is a really great program for middle and high school age children. It's mostly classical, but has a little bit of Charlotte Mason in it as well. They have programs where you as a parent can be taught how to homeschool effectively. And I have looked at some of their stuff. I'm doing their Latin course at the moment and I am loving it. Their how to homeschool courses are really inspirational and really help to think about the goals that you want to set for your homeschooled children. So they've got a lot of online lectures and then you can print out the PDFs, making it more affordable because everything is online. At number 5, I have the Generations curriculum by Kevin Swanson. Now, Kevin Swanson is a former homeschooler himself, and now he is a homeschool dad. He's also a pastor, and he has a very popular podcast that's been going for decades probably by now. And through that, he's talked about a lot of homeschooling issues. He's thoroughly gospel-centered, and his curriculum is all about putting Christian books into children's curriculum. So there are no secular books whatsoever in his program. You can get a feel for his theology by going to his Generations radio podcast. I'll link it down below. But it looks like a really interesting curriculum, not one that I've had experience with personally, but I have read some reviews of it online and it's very positive. Okay, in place number 4, we have Veritas Press. This is a classical homeschooling curriculum program. They offer live online classes where a teacher will teach your children the class, or you can do things in a self-paced manner with online pre-recorded lectures. Okay, thirdly, we have Apologia. So Apologia used to just be a science curriculum. You know, you had biology and you had chemistry and physics, and they didn't go into things like math, but now they're starting to go into math and create their own curriculum as well. So that means you're able to put the gospel in their math curriculum as well, which I think is really wonderful. This program gets great reviews, and that's because it is it's quite narrative. It encourages a lot of critical thinking. It's also very hands-on. You get loads of manipulatives with these ones, and they really teach your children to think for themselves. You can teach things in an offline manner, and lately they've started recording things online, so this can be an online program. If you ever looked at my science curriculum roundup video, which I will link below, Apologia got #1 for science programs. This is how good I think this curriculum is. Now, #2 is a curriculum that is going to get the #1 spot if I ever make it on my history roundup curriculum video. This curriculum is not grass. These guys offer a thoroughly gospel-centered view of history. It's a very American curriculum, so it won't suit everybody. For me as an Australian, it did seem a little bit too American, but for an American, this is perfect. They produce a mailable homeschool curriculum, and they like to go back to a lot of original sources and give kids a real feel for the history at the time to make it interesting. And so many people find this history curriculum interesting. It gets #1 on a lot of roundups. And you ask people online, you ask them on Facebook, for example, what's the best history curriculum is, and somebody will say not grass because it's very popular. And #1 is BJU Press. Now, this gets #1 in a lot of my videos. I use it with my own children, and I really love this program. It is so gospel-centered. My son sat down and did his math lesson the other day, and the teacher was giving her testimony in a gospel-centered manner. I love it. It was math. BJU Press give you the option to teach it yourself with teacher's manuals, or to use online video lessons. Now, if this gospel-centered homeschool curriculum interests you, then you can check out more about it right over here.